Path 22. Justice. The 22nd path of wisdom connects Tifereth and Javura, and it's associated with the Justice Tarot card. The image on the Justice card is of King Solomon sitting on the throne of David, which is similar to the High Priestess card, but Solomon sits between two pillars with a veil behind him, marking the entrance to the holiest of holies. These pillars are not labeled with a B for Boaz and J for Yakin, but King Solomon is the one who constructed the temple, and he holds a sword in his right hand and the scale in the other, designating that he administers justice fairly, but he does not bear the sword in vain. It is by wisdom that Solomon ruled. Proverbs 8:12-16. In addition to being the person who constructed the first temple, Solomon is also known for his great wisdom. Solomon took over as king when he was still a little child, and he humbly asked God for an understanding heart in order to judge his people. His request pleased God, who gave Solomon the gift of great wisdom. And the spirit of wisdom came upon Solomon, and within his lifetime he demonstrated wisdom and declared the woman wisdom to the world. King Solomon demonstrated his great wisdom when two women were arguing over a child. One of the women's babies had died during the night, so they were each trying to claim the one living child as their own. Solomon called for his sword and said to divide the living child into two and to give each woman half. Then the child's true mother spoke up and withdrew her petition. Solomon determined that a loving mother would rather allow her child to live, even if it is to be raised by someone else. And therefore, after exposing the true mother, he allowed her to keep her living child. As king of Israel, Solomon served as a judge of God's people. He administered justice fairly and was known for his great wisdom. See, the woman wisdom is associated with many traits expressed in the Sephirot of the Kabbalah and the paths connecting them. She is understanding, which is Binah. She is also wisdom, which is Chokmah. Strength and judgment, which is Javura, and justice. See, the justice card is associated with Tifereth, because Yeshua was a descendant of King David and King Solomon, because God promised both of them that one of their descendants would reign on the throne for eternity, and Yeshua serves as that fulfillment of that promise. The Emperor card connects Tifereth and Chokmah, which is Yeshua with the wisdom of God, and it's associated with the Messiah's heavenly rule. After all authority in heaven and on earth had been delegated to him, the path connecting Tifereth and Javura speaks more of the earthly aspect of the Messiah's reign, and it's associated with him being the fulfillment of God's promise to David and Solomon. King David was a man after God's own heart, and God praised David for being one of his most faithful servants. David's life served as a foreshadowing of the faithfulness Yeshua would later display, as he followed in his ancestors' footsteps and would assume his everlasting throne. When David lived, he declared to defend the poor and fatherless, to do justice to the afflicted and needy, and to deliver the poor and needy, and free them from the hand of the wicked. Through Yeshua's death on the cross, people are offered forgiveness and mercy, but similar to the kingdoms of David and Solomon, these concepts of justice and judgment will still accompany the throne of David and the tribe of Judah. God is slow to anger and great in loving kindness and mercy, but he will in no way quit the wicked. Like earthly governments, Yeshua will not bear the sword in vain, but will render unto everyone according to their deeds. The Hebrew letter associated with this path is Lamed, which means learn or ox, or even arm. Yeshua represents the promised Messiah who would be the arm of the Lord, and his throne is at the right hand of God. He delivered God's message to the world so that his followers can learn from him. Regarding this path, the 32 Paths of Wisdom says that the 22nd path is the faithful intelligence, and it is so called because by it spiritual virtues are increased, and all dwellers on earth are nearly under its shadow. God rewards the faithful. He considered David to be a man of his own heart, and was well pleased with Yeshua. Eliphas Levi associates this path with force, which is sometimes necessary in order to keep the peace and establish justice. The Sefer Yetzirah associates this path with action. which is necessary to ensure that justice is not neglected. The element of air is connected with this path because the suffering of Zerah states that it serves as a balance between the elements of water and fire. This is because the tribe of Dan is related to this path, because Dan was charged with judging his people, and the name Dan means judge, and his birth marked a judgment of God in Rachel's favor. Learning and applying wisdom and judgment while promoting truth and justice, see, these are keys people learn in life, and this path of the Kabbalah explores those concepts, as does the Justice Tarot card.